Hi and welcome to my channel, Hisame Artwork. I think I'm live. Yep, now it's loading. So hi and welcome to my channel, Hisame Artwork. Today I'm going to color the 26th page from my Feynman. It's Time Traveling Adventures. I will be ending chapter 1 of the story. So the first issue, 26 pages, is going to be out soon on Itch and Lulu. And you can read page by page every week on the Pastic if you don't want to wait for the next issue. So the line art is made by my friend Jun Fender. I'm gonna take a previous page here just so I can get, because I need to have the same skin tone for the characters from page to page. And I'm coloring here with the bucket tool. It's kind of the quickest to get the colors in there, and then I will go with my brush to get all the pieces that haven't been covered properly. This is the last page where the characters are getting ready for a nap for the big day tomorrow, and which they are going to follows a young boy from the 24th century that goes back in time to visit his idol. And of course they get into a lot of and adventures along the way. They go and meet Stephen Hawking also. I was about to say Stephen King. I just saw Stephen King and George R.R. Martin, so it's kind of still stuck in my head. But now they're gonna go and meet Stephen Hawking, not Stephen King. Okay, checking the stream that it's working. Sometimes I do have internet problems, so and I kind of constantly have to go and check to see that it's still working. wasn't sure if I clicked the record button as well. Hi Drakaris, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Can you see the stream? Hopefully it's working, everything is working. Ah, good. Everything's working. I hope there are no more lags, or at least the lag is very little and very well. Like the resolution is what it's supposed. It's a great relief to me to know that today I'm not having. So now I'm coloring page 26 and with chapter 1. Well, I still have to finish coloring, but I am in some already because first issue is going to be out finally after half a year. I think I started in posting in October, so it's more than half a year. So it started, first one was October, so that is October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. That is a lot of months. It's 8. Fortunately, chapter 2 we're gonna do it in 6. Like that's my optimistic goal, that we're gonna do chapter 2 in. And so far I've planned 23 pages. We might get to 25 if I feel the need to expand on one of the pages. Sketches for them again. I'm kind of going back and forth trying to make everything properly and coordinated, and just to have because initially I was thinking, oh, we're just a book, but then I kind of realized the comic books in issues of 20 to 30 pages, so I'm gonna try and do that format as well. Also for print, like for example on Lulu, if you want to print your comic book, these price offers set up, and you have like a minimum of 22 pages. Like for the comic book, if you want to print it, you cannot print it pages. The minimum has never been an issue for me, but this is how it is in case you want to also print something like a comic book. Know that there are minimums. I don't know what I haven't looked into it, but it's just that it's gonna get really expensive if you want the full color anything. The more pages, and you just gotta know also how people are used to purchasing these. Like I don't know how many people are willing to like pay $50 all the comic book issues. Like, usually they would prefer to give them in due time, even if in the end it gets to $50. I guess it's less of a shock to the system and more affordable to kind of buy them in time. Same time. And of course, with internet online publishing, you do away with that expensive investment. Yeah, it's a bit complicated. I don't pretend to be an expert on it. I'm still kind of reading. I did film school, not comic book school. There was no comic book school in my country. And the teacher certainly didn't know of any of the new fangled web thingies that exist now. Like, some of them had trouble opening programs like Photoshop or something like that. I mean, they could double click on it and open it. More than that, they were lost. But that doesn't mean that they didn't know color theory or film theory, about the industry in general, how it works and how people, publishers are, and production and stuff like that. It's just that they just weren't able, some of them, to keep up with the advances in the industry. And theory is not enough when you're looking for a job. And also in school, a lot of things you're not taught, like, hey, you have to pay taxes when you're in another to these branches of government at these places, and like pay your taxes there. So it's like something you kind of have to figure out yourself. And if you have an accountant, floppy disk that you're gonna go and deposit somewhere in a building that's super smells funny. But yeah, it's an adventure all in and of itself. Like, mostly I've tried to get employed where me had an accountant and they did everything, so you wouldn't have to go to these places and kind of get lost and try and give your money to, and to whom. So the government is happy with you, everybody after you. And to be honest, I wasn't that surprised. Like, when growing up, I watched a lot of cartoons, Asterix and Obelix, and in one of the cartoons, let me check what year was Asterix and Obelix 12th. So that was 1976, this cartoon. Of course, I wasn't born that long ago. But this cartoon at the French Institute, where I would sometimes go to get comic books and cartoons and watch movies, of course. And in one of the trials, colleagues need to go and file some taxes or something. And it's just a nightmare with all the people working there, and they're just trying to put some paperwork. And one of that trials was supposed to kind of crazy bureaucracy is. Of course, being a cartoon for kids understood the whole thing, but I certainly remembered it years later. And thing I wasn't surprised, I was just feeling like and kind of going through what they went through in the cartoon. So anyway, I'm happy to finish after so many months the first chapter. It was a long journey here, for sure. Also, I really like how Clip Studio here. I just copy paste multiple layers and it's just super awesome that it can do that. Like you can't do this in Photoshop. I'm gonna select two of them. And these are these two layers, okay. Now, yep. I was trying to look at what other new programs there are out there that can make my life easier. Some people complain about, oh, how computers are ruining. We're not doing art that much anymore. They're just the computer that's doing the art. I'm surprised they don't complain about brushes and pencils. Let me just select Marie. I think I'll do. It's gonna be Marie Ink. And Marie Color. It's always good to have your layers named and have them on separate pages, separate layers, sorry, to have your content and as many layers as possible. It just makes your life easier when you want to adjust something. Let me just quickly check the speed it is. Oh wait, I have it somewhere else written. Okay, so it's a pretty big, all of that space there. Have room for the speech bubble. Okay. The grass color, I'm gonna pull out an older page with trees in it. And I want a different tree. It's gonna be one with more rounded leaves. So I'm gonna check what colors I put in there. Okay. And I'm gonna have to I think I can do it on one single layer. Put it on multiple to be sure. So I'm gonna put tree. Like I said, it's best to have multiple layers. And another cool thing about Clip Studio Paint is the layer above of Lineart Vector. So like you see, it has a little icon here that is not the raster layer, it's a vector layer. Why I was able to so easily color the branches on. There are a lot of things that you can do in Clip Studio Paint and you can't do in and there are a couple of little things you can't do in Photoshop, but you can't do in Clip Studio Paint that easily, but you can do them very easily in Photoshop. And at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. I still prefer to color a lot of things in I do my final touches in Photoshop for this comic page, simply because I wasn't able to transfer my brush. And starting off, I didn't have. I did the remake of this comic. I first tried to do the story of Niels in Illustrator because I was doing the whole thing by myself, and I was trying to put out one page every week, and images and having him vector and just moving the puppet around was a lot less time consuming, so I was able to put out one page a week, but it didn't look as good as I would have liked it. Whatever you do to be a lot more stiff. And in order to have variation in it, you gotta invest a lot more time. So that wasn't working out. And then when we went and actually now the line art is vector because Clip Studio Paint has some really awesome vector line art in Clip Studio Paint is really awesome, and it's geared toward making the line art for comic books, so it's really specialized on this and it does it very well. I wouldn't recommend doing logos and other designs vector mode. You might not get at as easy results as you would get in In case you don't know about Affinity, is a little company that does programs like Photoshop, like Illustrator, like um, other drawing softwares, and it's a lot cheaper than Adobe, so, or Adobe, however you want to pronounce it. So it's definitely worth a look. I would definitely not recommend the Creative Cloud. In time, the costs get really big. So if you want to draw, if you want to do comics, if you want to do illustration, be Clip Studio Paint. If you have no money whatsoever, then go with Paint Tool Sci. I got a Wacom tablet, and it came with drawing softwares. It came with Photoshop, very old Photoshop, and a long time, and all the places I was employed, or all the they would have Photoshop, and I would work in that. Like angled with Corel or other things like that, even though they were cheaper. I think it was just, I don't know, maybe safer for them or something like that to go with Photoshop. Because such a big company, they were like, oh, we'll have support, maybe we'll buy an upgrade every now and then. So their idea. Why they chose to go with Photoshop from the beginning. Okay, and mask on that as well. And the background is gonna be this brown, dark brown for the shack. So this is the building where he first conducted his optics experiments. He built a wooden structure outside of his home, a museum made of with walls made of stone. And became incorporated into the rest of the building, and they planted a tree outside of it, an apple tree, in memory of him. and it is a graph tree he had on his farm, and which, according to the story, helped his inspiration along. Which is gonna be a darker color. There we go. And his old hoodie is gonna be here again. He took it off for a while because he fell in a pool of mud. And some pieces of his hair. Oh, I better not forget to tell you. So I have a Facebook group where we organize a bunch of art events. I've done that group mostly with the aim of helping other artists find useful stuff for them, because I know how hard it was for me to figure out some things, and help to me from my friends, you know, kind of learn about cool places, nice places to post my art, or competitions, events that I can take part in. So, you know, that just that flow of information is very important, especially when you don't know where to look, you don't know where to search. I often do listen to kind of reviews from other artists, and sometimes, you know, they will recommend a certain service, a certain company, uh, or a product that can be useful to you, or, you know, places where you can publish, get help, and whatever you need. So with that in mind, I made a Facebook group, which is linked to my artist page, so Hisame on Facebook. You can find me there, and you can also find the link to the group. And now we're kind of voting on what event to do next, if we're gonna do another quick draw collab, or another me collab, or just have a week of promote, or offering help, kind of get organized, solutions to our problems. So what I'm thinking of doing is, because people kind of voted on next for the events, and Also before that I did a poll for what people prefer most, like books, including comic books, or video games or TV shows, because we have a lot of different artists in the group. Some are anime illustrators, some are writers. So in the end, books won the vote, so do something about the writers in the group. And I'm thinking to do sort of like a week dedicated to books. Those of us that are comic book writers themselves, or just share with us something that they enjoy. Like if there is a book or an author or a series that they really like, they can share it with us, because it's always good to, you know, what other people are doing, what other professional experience writers are doing, and kind of learn from them. So I haven't decided exactly how to do, because I was thinking maybe doing threads, making a post about a topic, like sorry, which are the best places to publish, self-publish, and if anybody has any recommendations for magazines or other places where you can get yourself published through an editor. Like, having an editor is really awesome. Levels, you have hopefully a competent adult that can guide you through the tangled mess that is publishing. And also, if you publish an editor that is attached to a publishing house, you can have their support in the advertising side, because it's gonna be a joint interest. Content that they accept to publish will have success. They will also make an effort to promote you. Of course, if you have something good enough to be worth publishing, or that is something that isn't aligned with that magazine's audience. Obviously, if you're doing a teenage drama set in a period piece, maybe that will not fit too well with my magazine. Because sci-fi stories generally tend to focus on the impact of technology on people's lives. So if, I don't know, the teenage drama is kind of steampunky and the technology is influencing the relationship of the characters, then yeah, I guess you can submit to such a magazine. It is definitely tricky. Magazines have a clear guideline. Like, I've seen some magazines, their guidelines for submission were only submit to us if you have a strong following. And of course, my response to that is, following, why do I need an editor or a publisher or something like that? Yeah, they can reach more people, but the magazine in question, it wasn't Marvel or DC or something like that, so it's something more obscure, and DC are struggling to sell their comics. like what chances do other comic magazines have really. It's pretty difficult to do comics. It was easier before. Like they definitely had some periods of ups and downs with their sales. And you have like the golden age and the modern age, I think. Periods of revival. So I guess if you can catch one of those waves, it'll be a lot easier for you. Like I think now is a really good time for video content, and that's one of the reasons I'm doing live streams. It takes so much time and effort to do a comic page with color. It is a lot of work, and sometimes all of that work goes unnoticed because you want to advance the plot, so you kind of skip through the pages. So kind of gives a good moment to kind of see how the comic progresses and all the story unfolds. And also as a comic book writer myself, I often go and watch other people's streams, see what they're doing, what they're using to make their life. Like I learned about Clip Studio Paint from another comic book writer. He was using it to do the line art. And Clip Studio a lot of users, and I'm really happy for them because they have such an awesome product. A lot of people, you know, I've heard them say that they prefer to do the coloring in Photoshop, which I can't understand. I think it's in Clip Studio Paint, even with flat colors. I guess it's just a habit. And in the end, you gotta do what's easiest for you. If it's easier for you to do that or some other program, go for it. I don't think readers care about how many programs to do one little cat. There we go. And his nose, pink little nose. the eyes. So one yellow and one blue. Hi Anna, I can see your comments now. There was lag, I don't know. Channel Anna, hope you're doing well. I think my front door, I have to go check. Be right back. Oh no, it's okay. Must have been some noises from outside. It's weird. Hope it will be okay from now on. They still have the... let's see if she can answer quickly. Yeah, now it's working. Twin Peaks. Isn't it the 5th episode? A 5th season? Isn't the new 5th season out now? Or am I confused with Samurai Jack? I think that one's a reboot and you have the now. So I think I am confusing it with Samurai Jack, the relaunch. Awesome. Yeah, I've been meaning to catch up with Twin Peaks, get around to it. I've been just super busy because the end of my first issue, the comic, gonna be done, so I was working on the new pages for June. Didn't really got time to do anything else. I've kind of been going over and over again the pages. I think I'm gonna have 23 pages for chapter 2. At least I'm aiming to be 23 pages. It'll probably be more. But I was kind of doing the math, and first chapter took us 8 months. 8 months to do the first chapter, not to mention the work before that. So it was more like 9 months. The second chapter will be able to get it out in 6 months, so I kind of been doing the math for that, and it's gonna be 5, so it's gonna be 5 issues, 5 comics. And it's a total of 2.5 years, this project, so hopefully June will still be able to work on it. We're not even at halfway the story. So only now they're getting to visit Newton. So easier down the road, kind of buckle down and focused on the comic. 20 to 30. And you can have like a bajillion issues to tell a story. That June is helping me with all of this, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to finish it in any reasonable amount of time. How comic, Anna, how many pages is your comic going to have? So I have, let's say I have 25 um, 25 pages per issue, per chapter, and that's gonna be a total of 200. And no, it's 25 times 5, 125. So it's gonna be a total of 125 pages, plus all the extra events and stuff like that. Like I'm gonna include fan art from people. Let's say it's gonna be 150 pages, the whole thing. And to keep it around 28, 32 per chapter. I think the story moves too slowly. I mean, people are definitely not gonna complain that you give them extra stuff. Wise, it would be better, you know, to have more pages in one. But to have more issues, to have more stuff that I'm going for the closer to the mid 25 pages per chapter per issue. And like that. To do as much story as I would like. Like I would like to more stuff happen, more adventures, more fights, more action, more drama, more. I'm kind of constrained by what should I say? And I'm also working with someone else on the project, so I have to take into consideration their availability. I'm not gonna do any printing anytime soon because it's expensive. I have to do like thousands of copies to water it down to a price that people think it's fair. Like if I go now with when I say, hey, buy my comic, it's $5 or $3. It'll be around 4 for that many pages, so I got 26 pages plus cover plus some other extra stuff. It's 30 pages in total. And so it's gonna be cheapest best possibly get for this with the thinnest paper and the least that I get a special offer with free shipping and artist discount and something like that, so I don't include any of my work in the yet. Oh, and if I put some ads from other people, then I can get maybe to $4 this first issue. And you go to someone and say, oh, this is a totally new indie comic, how $4 for it, and it has ads in it, so as well. Nobody's gonna buy it unless they're fans of mine and they want to support me copy because the digital is not enough. Then maybe they're and pay to the printing company the full $4, which I won't see anything from it. So I don't think I'm gonna do anytime soon for Erwin. Like I saw with Ernest, how hard it was and barely. So maybe if I would go to like a Comic Con, then people would be more inclined to uh, pay for the number and get an extra discount, and maybe then I can lower the price. But it's really impossible to print it at a price that people consider fair because they're so used to from, let's say, Marvel or DC or something else, 50 cents or something. And so they think that that is the actual price of the and I can't really compete with that. I can't print it at the prices that they can print because big companies have printing companies, they have like long-term deals where 5, 10, 20 years I print with you, you give me good prices so that I continue to print with you. If you get old issues, like a new Simpsons comic is $5 on the Walmart rack. Older issues, Marvel, you can bundles, super cheap. And you get comics that you might not want. Like and you can get Marvel and DC in the same bundle. Not where I live, but in a bigger city where you have comic book stores, they kind of do these bundles. Similar to Humble Bundle, but it's print. A bit more expensive than Humble Bundle. No, print. So like yeah, usually for print bundles that are similar in price to the digital version. Let's see, comic book bundles sale. Nah, this one's expensive. Assorted Marvel comics by Gold. Well, you can get something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can get them for even cheaper if you go yourself to a comic book store. You can buy a whole bunch of comics for $5 and have bad ones. Like, I don't know what this 25 Marvel. I don't know if you have like 25 comics in there. But here, let's see. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 11, 13, 14, 18. Maybe there are 20 comics in there, I can't really tell, and you buy them all for $20. It's like $1 a comic book. Full of, it was actually no pure, I meant print. So like you can buy these comics for $1, they're a bit older, and you can have crap in there as well that you don't want. Or you can have something that's really good that didn't sell because it was kind of a niche thing that people with acquired taste will like. So yeah, to buy from Marvel or DC because they have so much content and not great. But that's what people remember. They remember the low price. Yeah, here is book Birthland. Uh, pages, that is 4 issues of mix. So it's one less than €1 issue. It's less than So you don't have expensive comics, you have thicker comics. You know, that's what people remember. They remember the price, you know. You think that you have, oh, we have expensive comics in Italy. No, you just have thicker comics in Italy. Tell them, cuz one issue is 5 pages in USA plus lots of ads. So you have like 20 pages of content and a whole ads. And it's still $5. Like for the Simpsons comic, I paid $5 or something like that, or 4, I don't remember. I can go look. Just a second. Okay, $3.99 for Simpsons comic from the supermarket. And it's a new issue, so if you want something expensive. Well, I got like, let's see how many pages of content. And this is good paper. Toilet paper. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22, and then a lot of ads. Few pages. Samsung 22 pages plus X pages of ads was $3.99. And it's printed on good paper. A lot cheaper if it's printed on crappy paper and you have more ads. Marvel comics. And it's one of the reasons I haven't been that keen on buying any Marvel comics, because they're mostly ads and I don't want to pay for ads. And cheaper the new issues, and also there are no stories from Marvel that I find interesting at the moment. Oops, background, there we go. But yeah, they probably can go because they have deals with printing companies, they put a lot of ads in them. What else they yeah, they promote other comics. You don't get that much content in Marvel comics, and I'm sure there's the same in DC. I didn't look at comics simply because, again, there wasn't anything of particular. Like I prefer the animations simply because Marvel and DC stories are very convoluted and there's just so much love triangles and stuff happening. The patience to follow up on all of that. So when I do look for a comic to buy, I generally look for the ones that technical aspect that might interest me. Arranged or the coloring. Like I wouldn't go with the style of my comics simply because they're too detailed, and their style is very different than that. So I generally look at Asian comics more, Korean, Japanese. Like if I can get my hands on a manga and kind of study it to see how to do mine as well. I think in Italy we are more like usually sold 2 issues for free, €4. What stops me is the where I start reading from what hero. Yeah, I mean, there've been so many reboots and red for Marvel and DC that um appeal in getting into that story. And also, the origin stories for a lot of superheroes are just cringeworthy in my opinion. I can't, get past it. Oh, radioactive spider bit you and now you have superpowers because magic, but we're supposed to be a science fiction type of whatever. It's a problem that I have with Star Wars as well. Like, I can't like Star Wars simply because it's such a jumbled mess as well. And that what happens when there's a long series that a lot of people work on it, and if the story wasn't good to begin with, or well thought out, or kind of branched out into something big that kind of lost track of itself. It immediately loses the appeal for me personally. I know there are a lot of people that can just jump into a series and not think too much of it, or like happens and doesn't have to be tied up and they can live with it. Team up where Avenger meet X-Men and there has no effect in their universe, or yes. Yeah, it's just too many studios that have it. Like now there's a historian and other things like that kind of help me keep track of the industry and how it so on. And it's a complicated thing, and now there's a poisonous cloud going around the world of X-Men, all of the X-Men, because the X-Men have been sold to Fox, so Marvel can't do any more stories with them. Are tying up the stuff with X-Men, and they're killing them with the magical and uh they're gonna go with the Inhumans from now on, which has been described like Game of Thrones. So yeah, we're not gonna see any more from the Marvel world. Let me see. So there's a border down below that June forgot about, and I'm gonna have to do that border here. Yeah, so that's what's going on with the X-Men. And understand. Like, I mean, I could be understanding the whole thing wrong. It's complicated stuff that I can't really keep track of. So it's plastered there and goes all the way up to the window. Okay. So the windows needed to be lower? No. Where is it? There we go. And I'm gonna control point. Oops. I need to okay. And move that point like so. What are like it's like a little other border below it. Oh, and I'm not liking that tangent. Like, where's that little dot? There we go. So yeah, that's what's kind of happening with the X-Men, more or less. They're gonna be their own thing now. Marvel property anymore. One said you can pretend Batman investigates proofs like a normal cop when his universe there are people like Superman. Yeah, well, you know, they kind of tried to thing. Because you know, Batman has always been more popular than so benefited all of the comic book heroes to kind of have cameos, have interventions from the other superheroes, like, you know, kind of how we do cross promotion for our comic. I give you a cameo in my comic, you give me a cameo in your comic, promote each other, and we try to help each other because we're both artists, indie, and we're kind of trying to develop our story and everything. And I'm sure they did the same thing in the when they acquired more properties, and they kind of did this mishmash. And but it kind of really got out of hand because there was the control over the property was just all over the place. And as much as probably the executives wanted to keep track of everything and keep everything coordinated, you know, these are series that have been around for such a long time, have kind of put their hands in the cookie jar, and I'm not thrilled about it. It's something that doesn't appeal to me. Just some people, they really like that video game Smash Mario Brothers, where you have all the characters from different just beating the living out of each other. A lot of people like that. It's one of the most popular video games out there. It doesn't make sense. People don't make sense. They're just enjoying it, like uh, turn the brain off and that's it. Um, some enjoy some things that I'm not, and I am able to enjoy some things that other people are not. Different, and companies will go where the money is, and that they have absolutely no obligation to make me personally happy. So I can't really complain since I'm not buying this. And like, other people have said, you don't like it, you don't buy it. Go somewhere else. And that's what I do, I go and spend my money somewhere else. I really see no reason why I should be upset with Marvel or DC of the way they're going. I know some people are emotionally invested in those characters, really upset with the changes they made to Harley Quinn. But since I've never really bought that merchandise, or like I never really had access to the comics, I just watched the cartoons on TV and TV bill. Can't really blame them for wanting to try something else and make Harley Quinn a slut, and because that sells more. If that was their fans, can't really say, oh no, keep Harley Quinn the way I like her, even though I don't buy that much merchandise with her, because she's a bad guy, so I don't wanna have merchandise with her anyway. People are buying, and a lot of hard price, like this crazy hooker look she has, and it's a great success, and there we go. No accounting for taste. And if you look at it as a business person, you're like, oh, what geniuses are the guys from DC. Look at what they managed to turn around, a character that was money into one of the most profitable characters on their portfolio. So I guess you can have admiration for that. I liked it when Harley Quinn was a very tale of toxic relationships and how you shouldn't date crazy guys that don't care about your health and safety. I wanted something different, and yeah. Or I don't know if they wanted something different, but they preferred the different. Like that whole powerful woman with the baseball bat thing. Women's fetishes, I guess. Dainty girl image is considered old. Like you had with Pixar, um, the Mary, you know, she was a warrior. She wanted to be a warrior, and a whole bunch of tunes. It was like the idea of beating up people as a woman is getting more and more appeal. So I guess kind of uh, thinking character that she was before, where she would plan and scheme just like the Joker, feeling anymore. And I think she started off looking like this in the comics. Like there was a revamp character a long time ago in the comics. Like the TV, the animations were slow to catch up with that change. And also she appeared in some video games as well, looking like. So there was nothing new about that character really, the change. It's just only that, you know, when it's a feature film that people kind of started taking notice of that, and it wasn't just some offshoot idea of weird writer. It kind of became canon when it hit the big screens and she looked like that. Because in the comics there have been so many variations of her, that new look wasn't considered canon. But now, since they invested so much time in advertising for the film, she became that. And a lot of other characters went through some changes. Mostly I've been put more clothes on Wonder Woman. They started showing less of her ass. A lot of things they've changed, so I've mostly been happy with the changes, and then with the Harley Quinn now, I think. Or they have a lot of new fans that are happy, so they're kind of evening out the old ones that are grumpy like me. It's almost 5. When it gets to 5, I will have to end the stream. So these are the apartments, so he lived here in Trinity College, kind of campus. So who was the building? This one on the left where he lived. So I have a lot of. There's no, it's not bye yet. But if you're leaving now, bye bye. So it's gonna be gonna have to adjust these lines here a bit. Oh no, no, I'm not ending yet. I got like 15 more minutes and then I'm gonna end. Oops. Alright. Not sure which is which. I can't get the right one. Like, what is that? There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna erase this because it's okay. Okay, so this is more of the shape of the whole chimney thing. Okay, let's see if I can move it now. Okay. Okay, I think it's more correct now. The height is a bit too in the border lower. Like you can see here, the border is super low. And I think I made the windows too big. Like, it's a pretty strange perspective, and I have no human being next to that window to kind of tell what the size of it is. People are pretty far away, so you can't really tell. And like also Niels is a kid, so he's smaller. So yeah, this is pretty much how it's gonna look, and pictures and backgrounds. And we'll see if I do this or I get to work on. So now I'm going to end the stream. Thank you for watching, and Undercar, it's always a pleasure to have you on the stream. And I will stream again 3 to 5 Michigan, USA. I'm going to end. Oh, those emojis are creepy.